From Washington to Hollywood and right back to Wisconsin. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Connecting the dots on the stories shaping our world with smart takes, sharp humor, and plenty of personality.
You know, I really expected more professional behavior from you.
It's news and culture without the noise.
Yeah, I'm on.
Here's Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Dude.
Welcome to Nite Lite, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I am Pete Schwaba, sitting opposite, and when I say opposite, I mean just up the coast from Mr. Greg Bach. It is a beautiful Monday in the state of Wisconsin, and we are so glad you're here because we have an outstanding, jam-packed show for you. Would you say that's accurate, Greg?
It is so jam-packed, it's yam-packed.
Oh, I didn't know you were bilingual.
I am.
That's really impressive.
Hola.
That is Greg Bach. He is coming to you live from Radio Park in Racine. I am in Marinette, Wisconsin, also known as Christmas City, around my house. And Dom Lee joins us from Madison, where he is running the board and producing the show. Gentlemen, how was your weekend?
It was great. I would say it was great. I watched another horror movie, another blockbuster. So there was nothing. There was no L's to this weekend. No L's. So
was it Backrooms?
It was. Yes, it was.
Oh, was that good?
So good. I thought it was really, really good. Because I know a lot about the lore, so I thought it was really good.
Okay. Were you following it on YouTube, and that's how you were familiar with it?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yep, I was following it on YouTube. Mm-hmm.
That is a new phenomenon, semi-new, that we'll talk to our second hour guest about, because YouTube, apparently, Greg, is fueling people. You know, everybody's like, oh, you just watch your phone. Dom's generation doesn't go to the movies, but apparently YouTube has given the box office a huge boost this weekend with Backrooms and Obsession. So good for you, Dom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Obsession was so good too. Obsession was great. I can't. I
gotta
you
stop. Said that.
You gotta stop me. Yeah.
I'm anxious to see it now. So we'll talk about that a little more. We'll elaborate in hour number 2 when our guest, Milwaukee film critic Matt Miller, joins us. Matt joins us periodically to talk movies and the box office and summer blockbusters coming our way. It'll be good to catch up with Matt. And then in hour number 1, we've got Yuseli Flores joining us. She was really fun to talk to, Greg. Mm-hmm. She is the organizing director of the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition, and she joined us to talk about a great event, some rallies coming up here in Wisconsin to increase awareness about fair maps. So that'll be fun too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's just the beginning of the show. We've got so many other things to talk about this evening as well, including a keyword.
We have our new, our latest text to win contest here at Civic Media, folks. It's going to be so much fun. It's the Civic Media's Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text to win contest. All you need, Greg and Dom, is the app to play. That's it.
Well, not me. I can't play.
You can't play. That would be disingenuous. No, none of us can play, but we're bringing it to the people. We're hoping you guys will play. Daily prizes are $100 a day. We'll give that away daily. And then a Wisconsin Dells prize package where you get tickets to miscellaneous Wisconsin Dells experiences. So a great daily prize. And then just by playing daily, you enter yourself automatically. You're eligible for the grand prize, which is, are you ready for this, Greg?
Whoa, what?
A $250 grocery card. Who doesn't need that right now?
Is that, I mean, that sounds amazing. There couldn't possibly be more.
No. Oh, funny you should say that. Au contraire. A $250 gas card, $500 total of food, gas. We all need that right now. Mm-hmm. Great grand prizes. And if you're eligible for that, you got to do that. Okay, here's the other thing that's great. We do this every contest too. After you enter the keyword on the app, you will receive an automatic message. Click on that link and follow the instructions, which could be something like to sign up for our newsletter or follow us on social media, and you will receive an additional chance to win. So each action can only be done once, but that's all you need, folks. Then you're even more eligible for great Civic Media fun.
And you can enter every single time, 7 times a day.
7 times a day. It starts at 7 a.m. and the last keyword will be given out tonight at 7 p.m. Right now, we're going to give you the keyword for this hour. So get your app ready, and we're going to give you the keyword right now. And the keyword is
We got an extra timpani stipend.
green. 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 Perfect word as we enter summer here. That is this hour's keyword in our Civic Media's Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text-to-win contest. We love our text-to-win contest and love when you guys participate. So good luck, everybody. Enter that word on the app, and we will be all set, and you will be all set. So
remember, spelling counts.
Yes.
Capitalization does not.
Well said.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I had, as these texts roll in, I just want to tell you, here's how I ended my weekend. Okay, so I do these Hollywood beats every day here at Civic Media. I talk about show business news. They play at the bottom of the hour. So I did this joke about people pulling out of Freedom 250, this big celebration that the Trump administration put together, and all these artists are bailing.
Yeah.
And I said at the end of one of the beats, I said, well, at least there's a Ferris wheel. Oh, nope, this just in. The Ferris wheel has pulled out of Freedom 250 as well.
That's a great joke.
Thank you, Greg. So I'm watching This Week Tonight with John Oliver last night. Same exact joke, almost verbatim. So
are you going to be consulting your lawyers?
Lawyers? You think I have lawyers plural? What do you think? What kind of money you think I got?
I mean, you've written and directed movies. You know Hollywood. I mean, you're a fast guy in the Hollywood world.
So this is where my brain went last night. Someone on the staff heard Civic Media over the weekend or something and stole the joke. Yeah. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm at the age right now. I've been around long enough. I don't even care. Take the joke. It's one joke. I write jokes every day. Take it. I'm glad it's on the the John Oliver show. It's such a great show. And I'm like, all right, well, at least I'm thinking about good jokes because I love that show. So,
well, I have this whenever I, come up with jokes either in my head or, when I post on social media, if any of the late night shows ever do something that's similar, I just think to myself, well, I know that, I could apply maybe and be like, hey guys, I write the same jokes you do. Just trust me. Look at my social media. I'm right there. Right there,
exactly.
Baby.
Great minds, right?
I mean, exactly.
That's kind of how I was. I was like, wait a minute. He got to air his joke first. I recorded mine on Friday though, but I have no proof. But then I realized the beats run all weekend. So technically I was on the air first. So I've got
not
that
technically, actually,
correct.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's what I was working with this weekend,
guys. I went to a concert on Friday. Very fun concert. Went to the Argo in Whitefish Bay, which is for folks who are not in the area of southeastern Wisconsin. That is a little bit north of Milwaukee City. It's a beautiful space. Used to be a movie theater, the Fox Bay Movie Theater, but they've converted it into a concert venue where they have all sorts of great stuff going on. And I saw Mr. Dan Tyminski. And if you don't know that name, you know his voice because it came out of the mouth of George Clooney when he sings Man of Constant Sorrow in the film Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He is a former member of Alison Krauss and Union Station. He decided to go severely solo. I should say severely. He's focusing on his solo work for quite a while now, but he was great. And here's the best part of the show that I felt, I can't speak for anybody else, is that the concert started at 8. He walked on stage with his band about 8:10. They played until 9:45, and they said, we're not going to do like an encore. We're going to play our last song. And he said, if so much of I hear a breath, we'll play our encore song, and then we'll be done. And they were done by 9:45. And it was a bluegrass band, so there were 6 members. There were no drum sets. There were no big amplifiers. Everybody had their instruments right up to a microphone. So it was got on stage, started playing, did amazing music. And then they were like, good night, done. And then that was it. It was so good. It was so fun.
That sounds like a really, like a tight show. You know what I mean? Like when I went, the last concert I went to was 2 years ago. I went and saw Springsteen, 3+ hours. If it's anyone other than Springsteen, maybe you too. That's the perfect concert. Like I typically don't want to see a concert that lasts 3 hours. I want to go home, but an hour and a half with a musician you love, fantastic.
Yeah, it was very, very fun. We had a really good time. And then, hung out with my buddy and And yeah, it was a great weekend. Not relaxing, but not busy. It was sort of like in between, where we had like, I had Saturday and then Sunday there was stuff going on, but it was a good time. And I would, if you check out the website, I'm not paid by them. But if you want to see a good show, that's a great venue to see one. Very
cool.
intimate. Very
Timinski.
intimate.
Like
Dan
I'll have to check that
Timinski.
out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you,
Absolutely.
Dom? You doing good? The haircut still looks great, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
My barber did say come back in a month. It might be a little weirdly shaped after a while,
Shaggy.
but yeah. But for now, I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna rock and roll with it.
I love
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
I think it's time, guys, without further ado, since we've got so much to get to, we get to our question of
We
the
do
night.
not need any more ado.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question.
Question.
Okay, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Question.
Questions.
Okay, so tonight's question is inspired, I should say, by a gentleman named Jared Horvath, who wrote a book called The Digital Delusion. And the book is making its way through schools, and it deals with screen time and should kids have limited screen time in schools. So I kind of like took an off-ramp for tonight's question, which is what is the limitation? How young or what is the minimum age a child should be before they can access social media? What is the minimum age a child should be before they can access social media? Inspired by the book, The Digital Delusion. So let us know. I have my thoughts on this, Greg. I might seem like an old fogey when I give you my opinion later, but it's a good question, and I think it has changed people's lives. Social media, sometimes for the better, and I would say more often for the worse.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation we'll definitely be having in the second hour when we're talking about this question itself. But I think I think there's still some base ideas where social media can be a great, valuable tool. But there's definitely plenty of examples where you're like, oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. Let's rethink this whole 24/7, 365 access to everything all at once.
Sure.
I mean, just the fact I see people like, I saw a lady the other day driving. She had her hand up holding a piece of food, and in her other hand was she holding her phone, looking down while driving.
Gosh.
While driving. And
So she's working the wheel with the knee, maybe.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, and I can't tell you she was on social media, but I can tell you that screen time has gotten out of control. And it's not just for kids, but kids, it's very important for their brain development. So,
For sure. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Shoot us a text and let us know what you think about our question of the night. And you can also text in on the app, which you probably just used to text in the keyword of green, 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 hopefully. And if you're watching the radio on the stream at YouTube, Facebook, or the app Greg still likes to call Twitter, drop us a stream comment and let us know. Be part of the fun, folks. We got a big show tonight. We're going to talk about some current events coming up after the break. Then we've got Yuseli Flores, who will be here at after the bottom of the hour, after the news. She is the organizing director of Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition. Our pal Matt Miller will join us all the way from Milwaukee. That's a suburb of Racine. Did you know that, Greg?
yes, it is. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for recognizing.
Matt will talk to us about the box office and its rebound since COVID. It's back, baby. And it is our Civic Media Text to Win, Accelerate Your Summer multi-state contest. We're going to give you more. We'll give you the keyword again, Greg. I think we'll do that after the show.
I think it's a great idea.
Stick around, folks. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network.
It was that music for like an hour and a half, and I was in heaven.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're back. Yeah, it was good
That
though.
is
I was listening to it. Timinski.
And what's really funny is that after the show was done, he was signing autographs and taking pictures. He was very, very nice. And, we said, please come back to Wisconsin. He goes, well, I come back every year for foosball tournaments. I play foosball tournaments all over the country. He made a joke about foosball during the show. I'm like, oh, funny, haha. He's like, but no, he is like a foosball fanatic. And he said, I've been touring so much for the last few years, I've had to miss a bunch of tournaments, and it really upsets me. Like, I have no response to that.
Whenever you hear tournament, that's when you know it's serious.
Yeah, exactly. It also makes me want to be like, where's the Appleton tournament? Because I'll just show up and be like, hey, Mr. Tominski, if you're knocked out in the early rounds, you guys want to just like jam? By jam, I mean you guys play and I'll watch.
Or join.
Yeah. I have a mandolin. I can play some chords. I have a few notes.
Love the mandolin.
Oh, yeah. I got mine right here.
Man, I need to play an instrument other than the recorder. I gotta learn something.
Sorry, it was
Orange
just it was a great delivery. I need to play an instrument besides the recorder.
It was an orange belt, and I didn't get past the orange belt.
Yeah.
Wait, the orange. Are you
I
talking
had,
recorder still or martial arts?
Recorder, yeah.
Does the recorder's level of skill like karate?
You move up. I had a recorder when I was in, I think, 8th grade, and you can move up based on, like, so if you had a black belt, that means you were the highest level of, like, you were the best at the recorder or at doing this certain song.
That's a very weird system.
It's true.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think if, like, the recorder, it should be, like, the lowest level is your parents are regretting it. Then the highest level is, like, your parents are saying, hey, go play Shine On You Crazy Diamond for the family. It's talent night.
In 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
All right, guys, we have 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
All right.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. I am coming to you live from beautiful northeast Wisconsin. Greg is coming to you from southeast Wisconsin, and Dom is right smack dab in the middle of, well, Dane County anyway. He's in Madison, and we are the Yotterhay Triangle if you're watching on the stream, which is a great way to check out Nite Lite. Just a reminder, folks, our contest is fully... I just lost my screen, Greg. We have our Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text to win contest here at Civic Media. We just gave you the keyword before the break, and I'm going to give it to you again now because I'm a swell guy and I want you guys to play. You just have to have the app. That's all you need, and you can text in the keyword. You have to text in the keyword on the app. This hour's keyword is green, Green, green. Daily prizes are $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package. And our grand prize, Greg, are you ready for this? Do you remember what it is? It's outstanding.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
You need gas? We got you covered. You need groceries? We got you covered. You win a $250 grocery card and gas card. That is the grand prize for our Accelerate into Summer multi-state text to win contest. So play, have some fun, and good luck, everybody.
You know, you were talking about your fantastic joke that you wrote for your beats that you do every day here in Civic Media. And I just want to say two things. One, Mark from Prairie du Sac texting in saying what we're all thinking, they should at least give you credit.
I want to taste.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throw me a
What
few
is
bucks.
Beak? What is Beak? Especially before that, before any of those mergers. Give you a pre-merger taste there. But also with regard to the big 250th celebration on the National Mall, there has been so we were talking about this last week, and a lot of the artists have dropped out, all but I think Vanilla Ice is going to be there, or it's not going to be there. They've all dropped off for various reasons, citing specifically not knowing that this was going to be put on by a political entity, essentially. So the Freedom 250 people is a mega group. And they didn't know that. So a bunch of people dropped out, including Martina McBride, Young MC, the Commodores. Well, our president, Donald Trump, has a solution. He's just going to hold a rally instead where he gets up there and talks to the people. It's just he's going to take care of it himself. When others fail, he succeeds.
He is the headliner, Greg, and he also said he can put butts in the seats better than Elvis could. That is what he said. And I'm like, yeah, maybe because AI wasn't around when Elvis was alive, and maybe he thinks Elvis is still alive. I have no idea, but this is just insane. You lose Martina McBride, Bret Michaels, the Commodores. You know, a fine lineup, but I was looking at what they did in 1976, the 200th.
Yeah.
And it was like the Beatles and the Who and all these acts. Like, Martina McBride's great in the country world. Bret Michaels, I guess, if you like the hair bands, and the Commodores are great, but that's your A-list lineup?
But the problem is, you know who doesn't like that lineup there, Pete?
Who?
President Donald Trump. He said in a statement that these folks that he was going to hold a rally to, quote, take the place of these highly paid third-rate artists.
That he booked initially.
Yeah, exactly.
So you willingly booked third-rate artists, but not. It's insanity. He's going to do his Village People dance, I guess, for 2 hours. That's going to be the headlining act.
He called them overpriced singers who nobody wants to hear, whose music is boring, and yet who do nothing but complain.
Which
I kind of feel bad for the
doing.
Freedom 250 people.
Oh, I know.
Because they have a bunch of statements saying, we're sorry they did that. We want to go for, like, and here he's just going, the Commodores suck.
Where's Kid Rock? He could lip unsync like he did at the Super Bowl Super Bowl alternative halftime show. But, hey, I just want to get this in too, Greg, before we have to get to the news.
Yeah.
I am so confused with what is going on with the war. It seems like every day we're in a ceasefire, then Iran breaks it, or the U.S. breaks it, or they didn't know they were in a ceasefire, or we didn't know. ABC News, or maybe it was NBC News, reported that Iran on Monday suspended high-stakes negotiation with the U.S. to protest Israel's expanding military offensive. You're probably more informed about this than I am. I don't know what is happening with the war. I honestly don't. And I think that's by design. I think it's chaotic, and that's just how they want it.
Well, I think it's chaotic because it's involving the administration of one Donald Trump, which is, it's more about the imaging and optics and how they present it versus what's actually happening. They've been going back and forth in talks for a while, last week they were saying they were getting close to an agreement, but it had to be finalized and approved by Donald Trump. I'm just going to keep calling him that. and now we're at a point where it seems that it's fallen apart yet again, but makes me beg the question, was it actually strong in the first place? And
exactly.
And the Iranian negotiation team is suspending it because they're upset about Israel bombing Lebanon. Like when it started, this was Israel bombing Iran, and then now we're doing the Lebanon bombing. Like, it just feels like the worst communication ever. Like, what's going on? Who's doing what? You bombed where? We're trying to talk. And then Donald Trump gets on social media and says that he doesn't even want to talk anymore. He's done with talking. We talk too much. And it just makes it seem like this is to, once again, distract us from everything going on, including the big bill for billionaires, the fact that he's going to be having a big old fist fight on his lawn, and let's not forget the Epstein files, or as Jimmy Kimmel calls them, the Trump Epstein files. Ding.
Epstein files. What happened? You can Google that one, folks. Yeah, that UFC thing they're building is such a monstrosity. I was looking at the picture today. It's like bigger than the White House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just, this is insanity.
I just expect to see like trucks up on blocks with no wheels too. Like, he's just turning it into every party my cousins threw back when I was a kid.
All the fighters will pull up in monster trucks and hop out and parachute down onto the South Lawn.
And then
hey,
they'll sing the songs of Martina McBride and Young MC.
And hopefully Kid Rock. Fingers crossed. Folks, we're going to break for the news. And when we come back, we'll give you that keyword once again. And we will welcome our pal, Yuseli Flores, who's going to talk to us about voting and maps. You do not want to miss this. She is in the know, and she'll keep us informed. This is Nite Lite with Pete and Greg, coming back.
Said you wanna find the well-busy corner, and if you get along, come on.
Not the best there. All right, we are in break, guys.
All right.
We thought you'd say that.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Are there any, someone texted in cream.
And, well, no,
Cream.
he's yeah, it's,
Oh,
yeah. Will, yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Are there any texts that aren't keywords so we can...
Not just, no. Yes, there are. Yes. There's one from Robert in La Crosse.
Okay, saw that one.
And then,
Make sure we read that
there it
one.
yeah. And then the one from Greg is a joke about the keyword. So, yeah, just the one from Robert.
Okay.
so far. And then I've got some on my Facebook, and I'm sure you probably got some thoughts on your Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Or on the
I guess
the
I should
Facebook.
answer it. I think I could do that.
All right, cool. I'm going to go do some stuff, and I'll talk to you guys in a little while.
Okay, guys.
Sweet. See you guys a bit.
All right.
Later.
Yeah.
But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show.
Welcome back. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Happy to have you with us on this beautiful Monday evening here on June 1st, kicking off. Now it feels a little more like summer. It kind of felt like that after Memorial Day. Now it's June 1st, even though it's not officially summer. I think it's safe to say, Greg, that summer is here.
Summer is here. Happy Pride. Let's get a rolling, my friends. That's what I say.
Let's roll. Let's roll, baby. A quick reminder that this hour's keyword in our Civic Media Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text-to-win contest, which you have to have the app to play. So please download that app if you don't have it. This hour's keyword is green, Green, green. Text that in only over the app, and you are eligible to win all kinds of prizes. $100 though today. And then we've got some grand prizes that we just told you about, and we'll tell you more about those later in the hour as well. So good luck, everybody. And our question of the night is, what is the minimum age a child should be allowed on social media? Fire away your answers. We will read most of your texts, probably in hour number 2, but be part of the show. It's always more fun when you guys participate. All right, it is time to welcome our first guest of the evening. Yuseli Flores is the organizing director for Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition here in Wisconsin. She joins us now over the stream to discuss an upcoming rally, or rallies, I should say, on voter maps in Wisconsin. Yuseli, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, it's our pleasure, and you've got a lot of exciting things happening coming up in just the next couple days. You're trying to make some great things happen here to make voting easier and more fair in Wisconsin. But tell us about these Our Maps, Our Say rallies happening all across the state on Thursday, June 4th.
Yeah, sure. So in light of the Calais decision, the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition is firing up our demand for an independent redistricting commission that would empower citizens versus empowering political parties. We are hosting rallies, like you mentioned, across the state, including Madison, Milwaukee, Appleton, Menominee IE, which is 30 minutes away from Minnesota, not Menominee in Menominee Falls in Milwaukee, Janesville, Kenosha, Monroe and Greene County and Wausau, amongst others. You know, for the past year, we've built public support for a draft proposal that came out of a volunteer group of the League of Women Voters. They basically Frankenstein the Wisconsin model based off of like the best examples that we have across the state to develop something that could work for our state here in Wisconsin. And June marks 1 year since we've been giving this tour across the state. We've presented in over 50 cities in Wisconsin, getting public feedback, and we check it like clockwork. If folks have any feedback to give us on our website, they can also give us feedback there. And every Monday for 2.5 hours, we meet as a volunteer group and review the feedback that we got after people read our proposals. So we really take it literal that this is a people-powered movement and this is a people-powered proposal. And we hope to have folks join us June 4th on Thursday. Times vary, but in Milwaukee, it'll be at 5:30. In Madison as well. We'll be at City Hall in Milwaukee and at the state capitol off State Street in Madison and so on. And we're really excited ultimately.
And in these comments and these conversations you've been having for the past year, what are you hearing from the people with regard to this topic specifically, especially in light of the decision from the Supreme Court? Yeah,
you know, I think fundamentally gerrymandering is just an issue, right? 1810, Elbridge Gerry gerrymandered the first map. You had the New York Times comedian draw out a salamander, and then you got the gerrymander. That's 1810. So you're telling me that since 1810, the entire nation has manipulated voting rights, voting maps, and has gotten away with it because they were able to commercialize the word gerrymander, right? In Spanish, when we give these presentations in Spanish, we have to translate gerrymander. There isn't a word for it in Spanish. It's a sentence. It's manipulating electoral maps after the census. And so this issue is 100, it's 250 years old. It's almost as old as this nation, 220 years old. And so we really believe that the only way we can get it right is to fix those broken pieces in democracy in our country.
Yuseli, we've had new districting maps since 2024, but they're temporary. Let's say your coalition is successful. How long is this process before we have something more permanent? In a best case scenario, and realistically, the court leans left, but the legislature doesn't right now. So what are we looking at here in a timeline?
2030 feels so far away, but in a blink of an eye politically, it's right around the corner. It's tomorrow. And so because Wisconsin doesn't have a ballot initiative process like our neighbors in Michigan, who were able to, through public support and public outcry, were able to initiate an independent redistricting commission in their state. We don't have that. So we have to go through 2 consecutive sessions in the legislature. So lawmakers will have to pass a joint resolution in 2 consecutive sessions, and then placing a constitutional amendment on the ballot, and then voters will approve it. So we have to get this done before 2030. And it's really difficult right now because between then and now, we have to demand that legislators on both sides pass legislation to establish an IRC. You mentioned fairer maps. I think people get so confused with the map drawing process unless they're knee deep in the game. And we have fairer maps, but that'll only secure us into 2030. If we want anything more serious, or not anything more serious, but anything established, we really need an IRC. Or something, similar to take the political map drawing power away from whoever's in a position of power come 2030.
And I'm only saying this as a statement to our audience. We all know that we are in an election year, both nationally and very importantly statewide as well. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of folks not standing for re-election, but the folks who are either running or trying to get the job again on both sides. What are you hearing from them on this topic as far as the IRC goes and whether or not it is a feasible process for them to vote upon?
I think they recognize that they have no choice but to support something that the voters want. We do have some folks across both sides that recognize that something needs to be cemented in order to create some friendlier competition. There are current folks that are not up for that are running unopposed in some places in Wisconsin because there isn't that competition and people don't feel represented. And I think if people really want to win this election cycle and next election cycle, they really have to listen to what Wisconsinites want. And right before we hopped on, we were joking around how the word of the day was green or GREEN. And we talked about, legalize it or what Wisconsin wants. And we we interviewed all across Wisconsin. We had a couple polls out, the Marquette poll, we lean on that a lot. And 67% of those folks want to legalize weed. 90% want affordable, high quality childcare to be more accessible. And so when talking to people, just like legislators, they can try to pass laws that might legalize marijuana. They might try to pass laws that will create quality, accessible childcare. But in that might is where you get stuck with the termites of gerrymandering and gerrymanderers who will make sure that those things don't pass. And which is why we're pushing for an IRC to kind of give people some of that autonomy back. 82% of Americans nationally want maps that are drawn by independent commissions, according to an NBC poll. So we're just doing what the people want, and they're doing whatever people in power want. And I'm broke. I have no money. So I feel like I'm never represented in politics as a working class person.
Sally, will you take an out-of-state 3-party bad check? I'm happy to loan you some money if you...
Also,
you see that? Money in politics, yeah.
I would just also like to give you an award. I don't have a crown or even a piece of paper, but the use of the mite to termite was just beautiful. That was just a beautiful play on words right there. Oh, man.
Sally Flores is an organizing director for the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition here in Wisconsin. She joins us to talk about rallies happening across the state on Thursday. Our Maps, Our Say rallies, to be more specific. Let's talk about, you just said what the voters want. Not that it's totally inside baseball. I think people have a general sense of what redistricting or gerrymandering is. But what is your biggest challenge in terms of educating those voters to have them fully comprehend how this affects our political system so that they vote in your favor or our favor?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you kind of start with an issue. So what things people care about? Kids, people care about healthcare. People care about so many things, universal background checks for gun purchases. We can start on a topic and then we know why we are not getting it. And so we can start on the 70% of folks in Wisconsin that want a major increase on state aid for special education. And we're not getting it because we don't have politicians that care about it because of gerrymandered maps. So, we're a coalition and we have organizations kind of stopping little fires everywhere. But the big fire pit is the gerrymandering issue. And so we're not going to get more money for special education. We're not going to get money to fund public schools. We're not going to get support increasing the minimum wage if we don't solve the issue of political gerrymandering. So once you kind of start an issue, like just anything anybody cares about, you ask them what they care about. They have kids, the expensive childcare costs, like we find the source and then will always get to the root. And the root is always going to be uprooting gerrymandering and establishing an independent redistricting commission so we don't have these issues anymore. And again, this root is like 1810. Like this root is hundreds of years old. So we have to like start pulling at the weed, like pulling at the root up.
Yeah. And these conversations I've had regarding this topic, in the what I referenced earlier, the fact that so many politicians and calling a fact they're the GOP members, the fact that they're stepping down to me says they don't want to have to knock on the doors and have the conversations. We see politicians avoiding town halls or trying to control the narrative or getting booed off the stage because of gerrymandered maps guaranteed them their jobs. So now that they actually have to work for it, they're saying, you know what? I got to spend more time with my family. And we all know what that means. And I think that right there is probably the biggest example for not just the left-leaning folks, but for all folks here in Wisconsin. Because I guarantee you say you're broke, Uselli, there are broke people across Wisconsin who voted for Trump, voted for Robin Vos, those kinds of things. And it's important to make this conversation known that we need to have these maps fair so we have leaders who are actually working for us instead of, for their next election that they don't have to actually run for. So
great points,
yes,
Uselli.
yes.
It is great to have you here. We are going to take a very short break and then we will come back with our guest, Uselli Flores. She is she is the organizing director for the Wisconsin Fair Maps Coalition, and she is speaking some truths here. You won't want to miss what she has to say. We'll have a few more minutes with her on the other side of this break, and I'll remind you of what this hour's keyword is in our Civic Media Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text-to-win contest. That is all coming up next. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network.
It just wasn't real one there I really wanted to talk to. For your time, oh, you've been so much more than kind. You can keep the dime. But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that and give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm higher and higher. Keep it up, and we'll be there at your side.
Welcome back to Nite Lite. Great to have you here on this Monday, June 1st. We are jamming through hour number one here. I'm Pete Schwaba, sitting just downstate from me, just down the coast. That sounds more exotic.
Yes.
In Radio Park.
Sounds
Racine
fancier.
Is, Greg Bach. It's much fancier, let's be honest.
We have boats.
Racine and where I am, Marinette, very blue-collar kind of reps, but we're making it sound very sexy. And Dom Lee is here in Madison. Speaking of sexy, we're still rocking that new haircut. Dom, I swear you had a touch-up over the weekend, but it still looks good.
Oh, well, thank you.
You got to crisp up the lines. You got to crisp up those lines on the temple, especially. Those things grow out fast.
Okay. All right. Noted.
Just a quick reminder, folks, our Civic Media Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text-to-win contest is now officially in full swing as of today. And this hour's keyword that you have to text in on the app to be eligible for $100. That's your daily prize. And we've got some great grand prizes, too, that we mentioned earlier. But our keyword is for this hour is green, Green, green. And we'll give more details throughout the next couple of weeks. So good luck, everybody. Play the contest. Great fun. Our guest right now is Yuseli Flores. We're talking to her about redistricting and maps and a great several rallies that are happening on Thursday, June 4th. Speaking of those rallies, Yuseli, I noticed some of the cities kind of lean left and some of the cities or areas, I say, lean right. Were these targeted in any way? I mean, you want to reach all people. You're speaking to everybody, but were those chosen tactfully or?
You know, they weren't. We have volunteers all over the state, and those were just the folks that had the capacity to help us put rallies together. In 2023, we hosted a rally on the same day in 17 different cities. And in 2024, we did 8 cities. So this is sort of like a yearly attempt to remind people that it's our maps and it's our say. And thankfully, we do have amazing volunteers in all those cities.
You know, something I saw after the Cali decision came down was, we all saw this, a scramble from various states to try to redraw their maps based on that decision. I'll just leave it like that and stay FCC compliant. But also what we saw was all the folks saying, well, let's get rid of our own IRCs because now we can gerrymander now. And not just from Republican states, too, because people are fearful that things might happen. What do you say to folks who discuss that point with regard to this topic and the work you're doing instead of just saying, well, let's just let like this party win the Senate and the Assembly and the governorship, and then we can do whatever we want, which never works out. But what are you hearing in that point of the conversation?
Yeah, both parties want to gerrymander. I think it's an unfortunate thing that both parties want to gerrymander, but it's also the control of power. Like once anybody gets a taste of power, it feels really nice. And so we recognize that whatever political party is attempting to gerrymandering, like it's just a power hoarding. It's a power thing that they want to keep control of. And we need to, like, for me, remind ourselves that we're looking towards like what liberation, what North Star we're like all looking towards sort of for a process in Wisconsin that won't include politicians in the map drawing process and give voters some of their power back. I'm fully in support of an IRC, and we do have some, as a coalition, some organizations that are waiting for maybe reform at the federal level. And I have to remind them that we've been waiting for reforms at the federal level for decades. Like, I'm undocumented. I've been waiting for immigration reform for 27 years. And just telling folks, like, you really want to leave it up to those guys? Like, you want to leave the ball in that, like, it's going to get dusty. You're going to need to put air on that, in that ball, before they can do anything else. And so I think that at the state level, an IRC is like kind of like a quilt, right? It's patchwork. Like if each state has its own sort of patch to solve this issue, you're creating a huge quilt that is like going to drape over the country to solve the gerrymandering arms race, as it's been quoted nationally, with nonpartisan redistricting reform at the state level. And then, instead of trickle down, it'll sort of kind of kind of volcano upwards. And hopefully we'll get some reform, and starting at the state level will always make more sense to me. That's my argument. I'm a Fair Maps Coalition director, so that's my job. Like,
Yeah.
I am putting all my eggs in that basket, because we have no time to crack any eggs, just like we don't have time for cracking and packing politically.
Yeah.
That's Yuseli Flores. She joins us to talk about Our Maps, Our Say. 7 rallies happening around the state of Wisconsin on Thursday to promote fair maps and independent redistricting committees. We have about a minute and a half left, Yuseli, and I'm sorry to throw this at you, but I was curious. I didn't really understand some of this too, so I'm thinking maybe listeners don't either. But in terms of a bipartisan group of legislators redrawing the maps and an independent, an IRC, what's the difference? Why is it more important to have the IRC do it and have actual citizens do it than even if it is a bipartisan group in the government?
Well, IRCs are meant to make the redistricting process more transparent and impartial, because they'll be establishing standards for who, the IRC, right, will have standards for who can join the commission. We're not just gathering Republicans, we're not just gathering Democrats, we're gathering independents, we're gathering folks who, sometimes switch their political alignment or parties based on like their beliefs. And Wisconsin isn't a state that like will ask you personally who your political party or who you affiliate with. And so the goal is to create a safeguard across the state that is impartial, that supports voters regardless of political identity.
Wow, that was great. I knew that was kind of a big question here with the clock ticking. I appreciate that. Great answer. Yuseli, congrats on the rallies. Enjoy them, but pace yourself. Don't rally too hard. It's a long process, but have a great time on Thursday. I hope the turnout is great. And thank you so much for joining us here today on Nite Lite.
Thanks so much.
All right, we are coming right back for hour number 2 of this Monday night edition of Nite Lite. I'm Pete Schwaba. He's Greg Bach. Greg.
It's cool. I'm just Greg. Now I'm just Greg. Yeah.
We'll break this down in hour number 2. Greg's not going to let me forget this. All right, we're coming back to read your texts and talk to Matt Miller about movies. It's Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach on the Civic Media Network.
Trying to make sense of the world? You've got Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach.
Call our toll-free number now.
Headlines, culture, and real conversation.
And now, our feature presentation.
Here's Pete and Greg.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're coming to you live. I am Greg Bach in Radio Park in Racine, all the way up the coast in Marinette, Wisconsin, a.k.a. Christmas City, USA, is Mr. Pete Schwaba. And completing the Yaderhay Triangle in Madison at HQ is Mr. Dom Lee on the ones and twos. So happy you're joining us this evening. Hope you're having a great Monday. Welcome to June. Welcome to Pride Month. Welcome to all the great things summer has in store, including a really good Brewers record right now. But we are going to be here for another hour this evening. If you missed anything from earlier, our great conversation with Yuseli Flores and finding out information on the rallies taking place around the state, you can go to civicmedia.us/shows, look for Nite Lite, download episodes, and listen to them at your leisure anytime you'd like. Great shows there, including other programs here. If you missed out on your opportunity to get us the keyword for the Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest, that's okay. We've got another chance for you in the 7 o'clock hour, so stick around for that. And if you've already entered in for the 5 o'clock hour, you can do it again. You have 7 chances a day during this contest. So keep it locked right here for the keyword coming up in just a little while. And good luck to you on that one. That is going to be a great, great contest. The daily prize is $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize package. So keep it here for those keywords, and also your chance to get an extra entry too. So that's really great. We have a great hour for you planned ahead. We've got Matt Miller. He is a Milwaukee-based film critic talking about all the summer blockbuster movies, as well as, I guess, movies are back in the theaters, baby. People are going out to see films. That's great. That's great to hear. And we'd love to hear from you about your thoughts on the movies coming out this summer, maybe what you're going to go see. And that's coming up just in a little while. And yeah, it's going to be very fun. And then, of course, we wrap everything up with the nightcap where we talk about what we learned, get to some last minute texts, and just have ourselves a good old time. You guys have fun in the first hour?
Go ahead, Dom.
Oh, I did. I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of water too. So I was hydrated and I had fun. Two things can't be true, and well, two things were true. Yes, I had fun.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I was wondering about both of those things, Dom, that you were maintaining hydration and also,
Because sometimes I'm trying to have fun, but I'm like, oh, I'm so dehydrated. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm so hydrated, but I'm not having any fun right now.
See, that's why it was a great first hour. I had both, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
You had everything going for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well,
it's going to be hard to top that.
I know. But Pete, what did you do? Did you have fun, stay hydrated, and what else?
I was, you know what? I've been hydrating all day, and I slow down around 5 o'clock when we hit the air. So, but I love talking to you, Sally, and it was fun talking about the contest and the question of the night. We got so much going on. It's a fun night here at Nite Lite.
Absolutely. Let's keep the fun rolling now with a restatement of the question of the night. Dom?
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Question.
Pregunta.
Question. Hey, I have a question. Questions? This question.
Domanda.
Question.
Questions.
What is the minimum age a child should be allowed on social media? Pete, this came from you, saw a book. What was the name of the book again?
It was called The Digital Delusion by Jared Horvath, and it's very popular in schools right now. They're trying to get kids to decrease screen time in schools, and kids even like it on some level.
I mean, I think there's going to come a point where kids are going to be like, I got to put this down for a little bit. I mean, but definitely. That's the question. And let me say this too. I personally believe, but it's just my thought. I think a lot of us, adults and children, could go with putting the phone down, turning the TV off, putting the laptop down, whatever it may be. Just even sitting for a moment with your thoughts, going for a nice walk, enjoying the especially now, the nice air. So but the question tonight is, what is the minimum age a child should be allowed to be on social media? So you can get in touch with us, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. You can leave a comment on our live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform that we still call Twitter. You can also always get in touch with us via the Civic Media app. If you're getting in touch with us for the contest, send us a text through the app. Download it today. It's absolutely free. And you need that to be part of the Accelerate Your Summer multi-state text to win contest. But let us know. You can also call through the app. You can also listen live. You can also get your news. It's absolutely great. And then finally, for those who like to go the traditional route, they're, the old school folks, you can always drop an email, Nite Lite, NITELITE at civicmedia.us. Let us know how we're doing. Reread those emails, and we thank you for your input. Pete, you have kids. You have 2 children.
I do.
And I think they've had social media their entire lives, right?
Not their, well, no. Actually, no. My son lobbied for a phone when he was like 13. We held off, and he's very responsible, so we broke down, and when he went to high school, we got him a phone.
Yeah.
And my daughter, probably a little younger, and they're both admittedly on their phones more than they'd like to be. Yeah. But we've never had a social media issue with bullying or anything like that. We're fortunate. But we're all on our phones too much in this house, myself included. I didn't have this at all when I was younger. So I love the idea of connecting with friends from all over the country and watching funny reels. I think it's fantastic, but I do need to put it down more.
So as a parent, what do you think, and they, when they got a hold of their phones, it was many years ago, but today in 2026, as a parent, when do you think the age should be then?
I'm going to sound a little prudish here, maybe. I didn't know what to say because I feel like, there's all these milestones, middle school, formative years. When you're a freshman in high school, you should be focused more on school. Sophomore year, you typically get your driver's license. So I said 17.
Oh, boy.
I said,
wow.
Give them a year behind the wheel to get experience before they start texting and driving. I don't want it to be 16 and they're doing both at once.
Yeah, absolutely. That is not going to win you any points in the house. My goodness.
It's not,
gracious.
but we've got higher answers than mine. I'm kind of like at the lower end, believe it or not. So that's just my 2 cents.
Hey, well, I believe it's an important 2 cents. As of all the 3 of us, you're the only one with children, and I understand all the situation you're taking into account. But Dom, as somebody who's grown up with social media and you've seen the highs and lows of it, like I didn't, we have social media. We don't deal with it in the same way you may have or do. Looking at you as where you are right now, and let's say in the next 10 years you have children, what do you think your thought would be as far as when they should be able to be on social media?
Well, I had social media, I think freshman year of high school. And yeah, my parents decided that was the best route to take. And I think I would have to agree. I think as soon as they get into high school, I think that's the time to explore social media. I also think it kind of depends on the social media. Something like YouTube is a lot different than something like TikTok.
Yeah.
Great point.
So that's how I would feel. I would say wait for TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that later on. YouTube, more informational things, more information gathering things can be at the start of high school. That's what I would say.
Well said.
There you go. That's a good thought. That's a very good thought. What do we have on the text line for the question?
Oh, whoa. Greg.
What now?
You can answer the question?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I think I would kind of go. I would kind of go a little bit of column A, column B with what you guys are saying. So I think what I would do is, if I had children, I think that they would get social media when needed. So if they were, I guess what I would do is I would have a family account, if you will. Like if there's YouTube, but there'd be a family account. You can access the family YouTube account. If they need Facebook for whatever reason, I don't think young people need Facebook, Dominic, right? That's not.
No, not right now. Not really.
I mean, I think that if we're talking about Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram, I would probably wait until they were 16 or so, and I would probably catch a lot of guff for it, but whatever. But as far as YouTube is, I would say, all right, we'd have a family account. You can access it there, and that way we know what you're watching and what you're not watching and that kind of thing. But there'd be a lot of discussions too. And I think I would go also along the same route, Pete, as you, whereas I'd look at my kid. If my kid is I don't want to say a good kid, but they're showing responsibility, they're showing that this is a privilege and not a right, then you have that deeper conversation. But I would start with YouTube because that's just everywhere. I mean, that's ubiquitous. You can't get away from it. But as far as those other ones, probably not until older, 16, if not maybe even a little bit older, and be like, hey, when you're 18, you can have your own account, do your thing. But right now, No, thank you. Thank
Let's
me when you're in your 20s and 30s.
Let's lower the drinking age to 18 and raise the social media age so you can have a beer and kick back with your Snapchat. Look at me solving problems left and right.
I know. Schwaba 28. Schwaba Lee 28.
Could happen.
I would vote for that. He's a funny guy. He writes jokes that John Oliver steals. That's just a joke. I'm not accusing
Blatant
anything.
ripoff. Yeah.
But what did we hear from the people on the text line there, Dom?
Man, we got a few. We got Robert listening in on WLCX says, question, every child is different.
Yes.
Engaged parents know their children best. Very true. Agree, however, that some adults should never be licensed to drive. Can anybody fix stupid? Okay.
That's a whole bunch of information there, buddy. I think good point, no, and no.
1 for 3, Robert.
There we go. What else do we have on that text line there?
Yeah, we got Melissa from Willie Street texting in and says, John and I didn't let our daughter go, I guess, on social media until she was 12. She's always been mature for her age, so it felt okay. Let's just say somehow she turned out way better than her parents. Smiley face.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, Melissa, we understand you, but I mean, John, questionable. But
John,
Melissa,
I could believe, but Melissa's perfect. She's a good actor.
Any others there, bud?
Yeah, we got a few more. I think we got a few more. We got Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids says, silly text alert. Plug those kids in prenatal so they may know their place with the Borg. Resistance is futile. Live long and process data. Okay.
All right, cool. You love Star Trek there, Ty.
That's right. Oh man, but I think that's
cool.
That's it. Yeah.
Do we have any thoughts on the Facebook?
Yeah, we got a few. Dale Jackson just chimed in and said apparently 80. So that seems extreme. I don't know.
I mean, hey.
Average ages for
how old are your parents then?
Mike Desatel says a lot depends on maturity and or how closely parents monitor their child's activity. He says 15. Hey, Pete, big happy anniversary to your folks. Mike also says, thank you, Mike. He's a friend of mine. Happy anniversary, Tom and Amy, the big 6-0. Our pal Victoria Davis says 30. Victoria writes great columns for the Capital Times. We should have her on. She's kind of put like a laughy emoji, but she could be serious. Tim Joy says 100. Dan Thine says 18. Sean Boyce 36. Amanda Nimmer, our pal, says 13. That's the age I lied and said I was when I got my first ever Hotmail account that I still use to this day.
Oh boy.
That's awesome. Daniel Wheeler says it really depends on when you want that child to learn the world is a soul-crushing disappointment. Thank you, Danny Wheels. That's awesome. We got a few more too, but we can get to those later.
Absolutely. And I saw one more come in from Melissa on Willie Street there. Dom, do you want to read that one real quick?
Yeah. She said, we gave her access for playing games and Roblox. It was huge for her, and Insta, Snap, and TikTok weren't around yet. So
yeah.
Thank you,
And what's funny is that now I'm hearing, and tell me if I'm wrong, Dom, like Facebook is for the olds. But I've even heard some younger people say things like Snapchat. No, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, Snapchat is, I think, for the young, and Facebook is for the old. Because I'm just now getting into Facebook, but Snapchat I've had for a decade. So,
but kids don't even like. Yeah. Well, you'll be getting your back pain pills in the mail very soon.
The Dones pills are on the way.
I was gonna make a Dones reference, but I didn't know if anyone else was gonna say it. All right, folks, when we come back from the break, we are going to be talking to our buddy Matt Miller. He returns to the show to talk all things summer blockbusters, and the movies are back, so don't go anywhere, friends. Yeah. You are listening and or watching Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network.
all right, we are in break.
And there is Matt Miller.
Hello.
He's got his thumbs up to the world. Shh, the baby's sleeping. Boom.
The proud papa.
I'm sad to report the baby is super not sleeping.
Oh, dear.
There is poop on my hand.
Oh, dear.
It sounds like the worst alternative like song from the 90s. There's poop on my hands.
Yeah, that was Eagle Eye Cherry, right? Yeah.
Eagle Eye Cherry, nice pull.
What a pull there. Holy
If you want obscure 90s top 40 band references, I've got you covered.
Eagle Eye Cherry, brother of Nana Cherry, daughter and son of Don Cherry.
Is that true?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Is that true?
Yeah, they're brother. They're brother and sister. They may be half brothers, but they are Don Cherry, the avant-garde trumpet. I think he didn't. Did he play trumpet or he played? Cornet?
I thought you meant Don Cherry, the Canadian hockey personality.
The announcer, right?
I'm talking about
that
Don
makes
Cherry.
much more sense to me that he would be. I was trying to trace, like, I've seen Eagle Eye Cherry and I've seen Don Cherry, the hockey announcer, and I do not see the similarity.
I gotta keep up with you guys. I'm actually Googling. Yeah, he wrote Stay the Night, right?
Mm-hmm. That was like one of those songs we always would talk about. Yeah, they're half brother and half sister. And I believe that Nana is English.
Oh.
Yeah.
She had Lyme disease. Remember that?
What
she did. She had like a bad case. Yeah.
Wow. How do you know these things?
Because we don't know math, Matt.
MTV News, Kurt Loder, maybe?
By the way, Kurt Loder, who's 80. Kurt Loder is 80.
No way.
Yes, he is. He's 80 years old.
How dare you put that evil on me, Craig Bach? Don't tell me these factoids.
I can't help it.
Guys.
I didn't learn math.
That's straight solid rude.
I just Googled it. Yeah, she had Lyme disease.
What a thing to know.
Let's delay our misery. Say tonight. Fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be gone.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. You can always get in touch, 855-752-4842. Yes, 4842. 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on our live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. Still ahead, we were going to wrap everything up with the Nightcap, where we talk about what we learned, get to your messages and texts on the question of the night: what is the minimum age a child should be allowed on social media? And so much more. So stick around. We're going to have a great time. And don't forget, in the 7 o'clock hour, you will have your final ability to enter in a keyword for the day. We still have this contest goes through the end of next week, so you'll have 7 chances a day, but 7 o'clock will be the last one for today in our Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest, where you could win $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize pack. So keep it locked right here for that keyword coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. But right now, we are going to welcome back our next guest. He is a Milwaukee-based film critic. You can check out his reviews and his thoughts on his Substack, A Man About Film. Please welcome Mr. Matt Miller. Hello, Matt. Welcome. Hold on. Rephrase that. Welcome back, Big Papa.
Oh, that's a weird thing to hear. No one's ever called me that.
Sounded like a weird thing to say. I got to be honest.
I mean, I got a note in your eyes. I love it when they call me a Big Papa. So
that is famously, that is my quote. Yes.
I just follow what people tell me to do. So
Michael Scott style. I love it when you call me Big Papa, Matt Miller.
You don't look sleep deprived at all, Matt.
We have, I mean, I am knocking on all the wood in this room right now. We have found something resembling a level of normalcy, but as any good parent knows, that can change in a matter of moments. The good news about parenting is that everything is a phase, and the bad news about parenting is that everything is a phase. So I'm enjoying a little bit of sleep. I've also been training for this my entire life. I've been going to bed at stupid hours my entire life.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were holding babies in public and like running up and down with them on Bjorn, or like speed diaper changing or something like that.
Dodging Nerf sprays of water, training for this moment. But no, sleep depravity. That is what I've been training for. So getting only 3 or 4 hours of sleep in a night, that's standard for me.
Wow, good for you, man.
We're gonna ask you. I mean, you literally have your dad hat on. I won't ask you to literally take it off, but we're going to put on the film hat right now, and we're going to talk some movies with you, because that is what you do. You have your own Substack, A Man About Film. You can also follow Matt on social media when it comes to this stuff. And let's just kick it off real simple. Summer is here, which means summer blockbusters.
Yeah, and what a strange, beautiful summer it's been so far in terms of the movies this past weekend, maybe the strangest summer box office weekend, besides not including 2020 when the summer box office was like a movie made $700,000 this weekend, a blockbuster.
Yeah.
Who went to go see that? We should be indoors, not there.
The drive-ins are back, but
Yeah.
you know, you have the second weekend of a Star Wars movie
Yeah.
falling behind a $10 million horror movie made by a YouTuber, and behind the third weekend of a $1 million horror movie also made by a acclaimed YouTuber. And I'm not going to say this is like a tide shift. I'm not going to say like, I saw some people being like, IP is over, rest in peace IP, and it's like the number one movie of the year is still the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Like, let's pump our brakes here.
Yeah.
But there does seem to be a move where Hollywood is starting to realize there is a young generation of people who love to go to the movies, and they want movies directed at them. They want movies about things that they are interested in. They don't want hand-me-down franchises. They don't want, reboots of things that they weren't even alive for. They want movies that exist to them, that are that pertain to their interests. And Hollywood now is like, oh, I guess maybe we should do that more often.
Matt, that's a great point. And to me, it's a godsend, because we've been hearing for years how, kids don't want to watch movies. There's social media. They got their face in their phone. Well, as it turns out, if you're smart about it, you can start something on social media and bring it to the big screen. Like, you're right. Obsession, it's third week of release. It jumps over the old tired Star Wars franchise that I've been reading about with all these reviewers. It took second place. Star Wars Mandalorian and Grogu is only in its second week, and Obsession jumped it. This is fantastic. And everybody is saying that the box office is back since pre-COVID days. It's a mirror. I love it.
Yeah, this is, if last I checked the numbers, this year's box office up to this point, year to date, is the highest since COVID. And that is without the power of a Marvel movie. That is without the power of a fully operational Star Wars movie. It's been fueled by the likes of The Devil Wears Prada 2. It's been fueled by the likes of, Backrooms and Obsession.
Hail Mary,
I know people are like, oh, a sequel in Devil Wears Prada 2, but it's a comedy. And for several years, we've been really having a hard time getting people showing up to comedies in theaters. And yes, it's a sequel, but it is Hollywood being like, why don't we make a sequel to a movie people like? And so, which is a crazy concept in Hollywood. And again, I don't think this is the end of franchises. I mean, Toy Story 5 is about to make a ton of money. Supergirl, I'm sure, will do fine at the box office. I think this was a bad Star Wars play to take a series that had kind of worn out its welcome even on the small screen and try to graduate it to a blockbuster on the big screen. But the goal is not to eradicate franchises. The goal is to get diversity of movies back in theaters. And you're seeing that now. You're seeing, franchise movies like the Super Mario next to an original animated movie like Hoppers, next to an original horror movie like Backrooms, next to a comedy sequel like The Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. And this is optimistic, and people are showing up for these things. That is the exciting part. There were years where they made this stuff and people didn't show up, and now they're figuring out. The Sheep Detectives, not a huge blockbuster, but it is getting repeat viewing. That's what I love to see. And that movie's incredible, by the way.
We're going to keep this conversation going on the other side of the news break. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about summer blockbusters here with Matt Miller. You can catch him on A Man About Film on Substack. This conversation, we'd love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts on movies this summer on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network.
All right, we are in break, guys.
Cool.
That's right. It's Save Tonight. I was thinking Stay the Night. That's right. That's a great
That's
tune.
the hornier version.
Well, that was funny because so today in 1964, the Rolling Stones arrived to America for their first U.S. tour, and they did Ed Sullivan's show. And they were one of the groups where they said, you can't say spend the night. You got to say spend some time. And if you watch that clip, Mick Jagger capitulates and he says, spend some time. But if you look at his face, he says, spend some time. And he rolls his eyes so hard back into his head, his skull almost pops off. Because back in those days, you couldn't talk about spending the night at someone's house. That's a naughty.
People can't know where babies come from.
No. The Brady Bunch, my gosh, they sleep in the same bed.
Oh, who said they were having sex? Spending the night with someone, you could be playing a nice
studying.
harmless game of Parcheesi or something. It doesn't. They're the problem because they immediately go sex. And I have a problem with that.
What is Parcheesi? Like, I know of the game, but what is it?
It's a board game. I played it as a kid, and honestly, I cannot tell you. I can't remember really how the game goes. I want to say it's like backgammon, maybe.
I always thought it was a card game.
I thought it was like charades.
Dom, you want to weigh in on this one? Have you ever heard of Parcheesi?
I've seen it looks like, with the board. I've known what the board looks like, but I don't really know what it does. There's 68 spaces.
Oh, boy.
12 are safe spaces.
Oh, safe space. Oh, God. That game's woke. Ugh.
Oh, man.
What's Parcheesi's pronouns? Ugh. What's funny is someone out there is asking that question for real and they're not being ironic. So
somebody out there's God, I tweeted out some stuff about the new Spielberg movie this weekend and fairly anodyne hot takes. But like the amount of stuff people would be like, that movie's not going to do well because everyone knows that Steven Spielberg doesn't speak for the American people and he keeps casting Americans, British people as Americans, and it was like, I don't understand how you're so angry.
Wow. Oh, I didn't realize that Steven Spielberg invented casting.
Right? These are arguments I've heard since the dawn of time, and by the dawn of time I mean when Hugh Laurie was on House.
That's when everything started.
Yeah, I remember those articles back then when people were like, why are the British taking all of our good American roles? And it's like, I don't know, they seem to be better at them.
Really good actors, yeah.
And also they probably came a little cheaper than American, like, we tend to watch some classic, like, old movies on the weekends. We'll, like, watch one or two, and we watched Bob Hope and Lucille Ball in Facts of Life, which is not a great film in any way, shape, or form. But there's a scene where they are on vacation and they're fishing and she's catching a marlin. And the guy behind him, I realize, is a white man in brown face as a Latino man. And I just said to my wife, I'm like, there were no Mexican actors in the 50s at all? Like, couldn't find one?
That is...
It's very weird to witness. Like, it's like, I don't want to say that was a different time back then, but you also want to be like, there were actors of color then. You could found someone. Like,
yeah.
I remember we were watching the Milwaukee Film Festival did The Lost World, like the old 1920 silent film, The Lost World. And it was really great up until there was like a whole part where like people in blackface showed up playing like, like native people. And like you could just feel all the oxygen in the giant theater just like suck right out of it because everyone was like, well, I guess we know what everyone's opinion is going to be walking out of here. It's just going to be, some things didn't hold up great. Some things are a little outdated now.
We followed it up with Bringing Up Baby, which is funny because like that movie is an ADHD fever dream. It is. I looked it up and they said that for an hour and a half movie, a typical script's between 1 to 120 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked it up. I looked up the script pages on that one, and it's an hour and 45 minutes. It's 202 pages. That's how much fast-paced, absolute frantic dialogue is happening in that movie. I almost made my wife turn it off. I'm like, I got to take a break. This is too much going at me right now. And even she was like, yeah, this is
like,
really
like
10
fake
seconds,
1920s newscaster.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, there's a baby. See.
See.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you.
Welcome back to Nite Lite here on the Civic Media Network. You can always get in touch, call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Leave a comment on that live stream. We're currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. tomorrow's show, we will be talking to Nicholas DeGroot, the founder of Ground Floor Democracy, and talking about the organization and talking politics in the park. And then Jason Mansmith is the marketing director of Thrasher Opera House, discussing their upcoming events over the summer. So join us for that. And don't forget, we close everything out with the nightcap in just a little while, so stick around and we're going to have some fun. We are currently talking to our second guest of the evening, Mr. Matt Miller. He is a film critic from Milwaukee. You can check out Substack. Go to A Man About Film, see his thoughts on movies of young and old and all sorts of things, opinions he has. Follow him on social media. And before we went to the break, we were talking about maybe the studios figuring out the secret sauce to success in the actual theater, not streaming, not rentals, nothing like that. The actual movie theater where you drive to, buy overpriced popcorn. But Matt, something you said that's interesting regarding The Devil Wears Prada 2 is when it comes to like those movies that have been gone for 10, 15, 20 years, even longer, I think that The Devil Wears Prada 2 cast and crew, and I think the Spaceballs sequel is doing the same thing, whereas they are building anticipation like a year plus out. They are bringing people to the table to give folks the time to either rewatch it, watch it for the first time, and really get themselves into a place of being excited. And I think, I mean, I don't work in the film industry. I'm not a film critic, but to me, that's the smartest thing when it comes to the legacy problem, because I feel like a lot of studios are saying, well, let's just remake this movie, or let's just do a sequel 35 years later with the cast and it'll be great. And then it fails because no one really cares. But I think that The Devil Wears Prada 2 said, well, let's tell everybody a year ago we're making this movie for 2026. And they built that excitement. I think that's a responsibility upon the studio and the cast.
Yeah, I think there's two things there. First of all, like there was that era where any superhero, any IP could get intellectual property, could get decent box office. There was, Transformers movies, even though everyone was like the Transformers movies stink, were highest grossing movies of those years. Aquaman becomes $1 billion movie. One of the goofiest heroes we've got, of the mainstream heroes. And that makes $1 billion. And now audiences are a little bit more choosy and they want to see stuff that feels like events. And to your second point, I know a lot of people dragged, Barbie for how elaborate and how much their marketing campaign was like just going extra, and like Wicked, how much Wicked was everywhere. Yeah, that's what you kind of have to do with some of these giant movies is just force awareness down people's throats in a lot of cases where it's like, listen, a year in advance, this is the day. Get excited for this day. Oppenheimer had to do the same thing. And because there's just so many more options now. There's just so much competing for people's interests. So you kind of have to make yourself an event if you're one of those movies. I think you see that something like Backrooms, when the buzz gets big, that rolls downhill and just collects and collects and collects. And that's how you end up with a $10 million movie making $80 million in its opening weekend. How you get Obsession making more in its third weekend than its opening weekend for a horror movie, which is nuts. But then you look at the opposite side and Mortal Kombat 2 comes out. Everyone's like, it's fine, but that's the worst thing in the world. That thing has no buzz and it just falls off the earth. There's no audience of like, oh, let's just check it out. Let's just see a movie to see a movie. They're done with that movie. They'll watch that at home when it comes out. And Mandalorian and Grogu kind of became that, where after its first weekend, everyone was like, I haven't heard it's great. I'll wait. I don't need to see that. And it just goes through the floor now. So there's kind of no middle class of movie. There used to be movies that could like kind of have a mediocre opening and then kind of lag out because there would be an audience who'd be like, it's Wednesday night. Let's go see a movie. Now audiences are like, it's Wednesday night. I can stream something. I can go to a park. I can, hang out on YouTube. They have more options. So being a mediocrity is no longer enough. You have to be something that people are excited about.
That's Matt Miller. He is a Milwaukee-based film critic who joins us here periodically on Nite Lite to talk movies. Matt, it's interesting what you were saying. I'm all for less sequels, less franchise films. Still make them. Some of them are great, but more Backrooms, more Obsession. I haven't even seen either one of these movies, but I look at the critics, I look at the box office, and Dom is a perfect demographic for this. 22, he's already seen both films because of YouTube. So what did you think of the actual movies?
I like them both. I think they're both really interesting. They're definitely flawed. They're definitely movies you can tell are by first-time feature film writer-directors, especially on the screenplay side of things. I think Obsession kind of loses itself a little bit in the third act, and I think Backrooms does better when it's about the creepy eeriness of the rooms and less when it's about kind of psychology. You can kind of tell it's a 20-year-old putting on a psychologist hat in some cases. But the vibes of those movies and the direction, the craft involved, these guys have the juice. Curry Barker and Kane Parsons, these guys are genuinely interesting directors doing really interesting stuff. Backrooms has this strange, unnerving sense of horror. If you're not a gory horror movie person or a jump scare person, Backrooms is your kind of horror movie. It's more just kind of unnerving. And Obsession has this interesting tonal thing where it's a really funny movie for a horror movie. It's got a dark comedic streak to it, a black comedy vibe, and then all of a sudden something horrific happens. And that's a tricky tone to pull off in this kind of day and age, a kind of horror, not comedy per se, but a horror movie with a wicked sense of humor. These are not Saw movies. These are not dumb.
Thank God.
These are not the Terrifier movies where it's just all about how much gore you can put on screen. There's real craft and smarts going on here, and I'm really interested to see what they do next. If this is their starting point for big Hollywood movies, this is really cool.
Love it.
Well, and I'll just make a comment about that. That's where because I get a little nervous for these filmmakers, because what happens is when their movies take off like this, then Hollywood comes a knocking and say, "Hey, do you want to direct the fourth Ant-Man movie?"
Yep.
And so the decision, I think, for them is like, do you stick to your own craft? Do you stick to your own vision? Or do you take that step out and say, all right, I'll do kind of a one for me, one for them, one for me, one for them. It'll be interesting to see where they go next. But what I wanted to ask you about, and we touched on it briefly here during this conversation, and I mentioned it before we got on air, is, before recently, no one cared about the, quote, second week drop-off. Now it's headlines in my notifications, specifically Mandalorian Grogu, which I agree. I don't think they should have made. If they were going to make this movie, it should have been after the second season, not after what was a third season that came with also you had to watch a different show to get the third season. But does this, of course, box office matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. But nowadays, it used to be the movie came out to plug people buying the DVD. Well, now, folks, I don't need to go see The Mandalorian Grogu. I can go watch it on Disney+. The numbers that these movies make now on streaming are really never talked about unless it's some like, hey, this movie with Hugh Jackman from 1995 is killing it on Hulu. But that's the thing, is these movies have huge lives after the box office. But we still think in terms of, well, it didn't do well in the box office, so it must be terrible. It must be a failure. Forget it. But then you discover it 3 years later. But I guess for me, it's like, why do we now all of a sudden care about this second week drop off? Is it just for notifications and clickbait?
I think it's we've learned, it's kind of like how the food, like people know a lot more about cooking stuff now. So like if you watched the Food Network 20 years ago, it would feel so pedestrian. They'd be like, we're making cacio e pepe. And you'd be like, oh yeah, everyone knows how to make that now. Like 20 years ago, people are more in tune to the box office now. Talking about second weekend drops is not something I would have thought I would have been doing 10 years ago, because who cares on some level? But, the fact that it's a Star Wars movie means that a lot of people care. And so you have that kind of aspect to all of that. I do think, you're right about the streaming thing, that these things do have second lives elsewhere. The problem is they have second lives that don't make money elsewhere. You can have a big hit on Netflix. It can be a flop that hits Netflix and is the number one movie there for a week. You're not making ticket money off of that. You're just making a flat, fee off of that. You're just making, a little bit of you're not making money off of that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, you're seeing these studios really shy away from streaming movies in that regard now. Disney doesn't do a lot of direct to Disney Plus stuff now. Only really Netflix is doing that hardcore these days, and they're trying to retrain people how to go see movies in theaters. And think about that. There was a lot, I think I had seen a headline that Obsession was going to go to digital rental this weekend, that they were going to put it on there for like a $20, $30, charge. Why would you do that? It's making more money weekend after weekend. Why would you cut into that and put it, out there for people to pirate? and for people to start getting that for free elsewhere. Hollywood's kind of starting to relearn the lessons of how things work. And back in the day, yeah, you're right. People could make money off of the DVD rights and the cable rights. And now a lot of those have gone away. You're not making the money off the DVD anymore. It's box office and theaters, and then, plane rights and a little bit of cable rights. And then you're streaming, and you're not really making much money off of streaming. So maybe that's why there's so much more focus on the box office in terms of that is the key moneymaker now.
Matt, we have a couple more minutes left. I wanted to ask you, what are you a couple things. You said Mario is the number one movie so far this year, approaching $1 billion if it hasn't already hit it. And Michael is right behind it. Talk about having legs. A movie about Michael Jackson should. Will that surpass Mario? And what are you most looking forward to this summer in terms of movies?
It's probably not going to surpass Super Mario, but it is, it's making the kind of Bohemian Rhapsody money I thought it would. And it's also a sub Bohemian Rhapsody quality movie, so that's a shame. But dang. I'm sorry, it's not a good movie. It's not. It doesn't even play the hits well, Michael. Really? But happy to see it's making money. Happy to see people going to movies.
Thank goodness, because he needed it. Whew.
I know. Thank God we wonder why that movie cuts off in the 90s. Weird. But anyways, what I hope people check out is The Sheep Detectives right now in theaters, which sounds like a parody movie when I say it out loud. It is a movie about talking sheep trying to solve Hugh Jackman's murder. It is one of the best movies you'll see this year. If you like stuff like Babe and Paddington and Knives Out, The Sheep Detectives is shockingly a great combination of all of those things. I cried multiple times, and it wasn't just because of new dad feelings, It's a genuinely really lovely, thoughtful, fun movie. And I'm really excited about the new Spielberg. I was a little concerned about how it was going to do in theaters and tweeted about that, and people are like, wow, slagging on, Steven Spielberg. And it's like, no, I'm really excited about him doing a sci-fi movie and him doing a movie with Josh O'Connor, who was so good in Wake Up Dead Man. I think that sounds really exciting to me. And I wish I was more excited for Supergirl. It's directed by Craig Gillespie, who's made a lot of movies I really don't like. And I wish James Gunn had stuck around and done the Supergirl movie, or better yet, gotten a female director to direct the Supergirl movie. What a concept. But I think I would like to see that too as well. Those are ones that I'm looking forward to this year. And of course, Jackass, Best for Last, I believe it's called.
I thought you were going to say The Odyssey. You said Jackass.
I mean, obviously The Odyssey is number one, but come on, you got to see the Odyssey, the original Jackass in its way.
Johnny Knoxville is our generation's Odysseus. I will say that right now. And
that's not wrong, and I'm going to write 1,000 words on that now.
Please, wonderful. Matt Miller has been our guest. Thank you so much. Check him out on Substack, A Man About Film. I'm sure he will be back sooner than later talking more about this summer films. Matt, congratulations on the new baby. Congratulations all around. Love having you here. Thanks a lot. Have a great night, friend.
Thanks for having me, and see you at the movies, y'all.
All right, Nightcap coming up next. Nite Lite with Pete and Greg. Stick around. All right. Good. There we go.
Dominic, did you like I should have asked you on air. I'm so sorry.
No worries. I really liked Obsession. And I liked Backrooms too because of the fact I really like I like the eeriness. I like the Blair Witch Trial, I like the Blair Witch Project movies. And I think the Backrooms really did well with that too.
Yeah, it's a found footage movie, right? I haven't seen either one of them.
A third of it's like found footage. It's an interesting thing, and like the vibe of it is very Blair Witch, where it's like I'm in a place I don't want to be and I can't explain why.
Yep, constant turns where it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Where like Obsession is like a perfectly polished, mean horror movie.
Yep.
That's very creepy in ways that you don't expect it to be creepy.
It's so good.
But I feel like whenever movies come out and like do these kind of things, it's always a horror movie because they're always made so cheaply. And then they they're made for like $5-10 million, maybe $15 million. And then they make $150 million. And they're like, all right, here comes the sequel. And then you get Ready or Not 2. And I heard it was fine. And then you get the copycat. They're all trying to kill you, which was not fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like when it comes to like busting the box office up, horror movies are usually the game day players because, it's not surprising when Avatar or an Avengers movie makes $1 billion. But when these movies make, I mean, the Blair Witch Project was how much? It was like $1 million? Not even?
Probably less than that at the
It's
time.
like 60 grand.
It was
Something
$100 million plus. And then we got Book of Shadows, so thank you.
Yeah, I do think some of that is horror is where you're finding the originality right now.
Yeah.
Because that is the price point studios feel comfortable being original. So that's why you're getting interesting filmmakers, interesting perspectives, interesting stories in horror, because that's where studios feel comfortable spending original movie money. And then when it comes to like $100 million movies, that gets a little bit more like, you got to prove it.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a little bit more there. One battle after another, Sinners, Weapons. I know the other two are horror movies as well, but we're starting to see some things change in the right direction. Sorry, I've used up so much oxygen today, by the way. I'm sorry. I feel bad about
You've been talking to a baby for the past few months, so I'm sure that like
and Remy is just not as interested in my Hollywood takes. So
come on. Gotta whip that kid into shape, Matt.
Remy's first words are going to be like something like Godard is overrated.
I would love that. Would be incredible. But guys, thank you so much for having me. I hope this worked. I hope this worked for you. I hope
it was great.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Come on back. Let us know. You go see some movies. Let us know.
Yeah, maybe end of the month we can do a little look back, look forward.
4th of July. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, man.
I'm around. I got nothing
Excellent.
else to do other than keep a human alive.
Well, good luck with that. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Yep, have a good one. All right, guys. Well, we have 10 seconds.
All right.
It's time to wind it down. Let's take a moment to look back and ask, what did we learn today? This is Nightcap with Greg and Pete.
Welcome back to Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach here on the Civic Media Network. Get in touch with us. Call or text. The number is the same, 855-752-4842, 855-75 Civic. Leave a comment on the live stream. Currently streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and the platform we still call Twitter. You can also get in touch with us via the free Civic Media app, which you will need for the Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win contest. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but we are officially in the nightcap. Let's get to the last minute comments on the live stream as well as the text line regarding the question of the evening, which is, what is the minimum age a child should be allowed to be on social media? Dom, I feel like we have some more text messages that came through in the past few minutes. What do we got?
Oh, yes, we got a few. We got Nick from texting on WMDX says, I was about 17 when social media started taking off, and I don't think kids should be younger to use it. But I think 16 but I think 16 at the youngest. Might seem a little too young to some people, but if teens don't have access to social media, then they will probably find even more stupid things to do that could be far much more damaging.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. What else we got there? We got a couple more.
Yeah, we got a couple more. We got John texting in on WMDX as well. Says for the tubes access, I think establishing a national age of 16 would be a great start. It's controversial enough to stir a nationwide conversation, and more thought will have to go into it. Go into the amended age rules after some anger and debate, et cetera, et cetera. Very true. And the tubes can be a dangerous place. More parents will wake up if they pass a national law. Let's wake them up and get them talking about it.
Wow. I know that Australia passed a law. I think it was 16, maybe even 18. But even people in Australia, yeah, good luck enforcing that. Okay, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't entertain idea of a national law. I'm just saying that would be a very difficult thing to do.
Oh,
but
man.
Understood. What else do we have left on the Facebook page there, Mr. Schwaba?
We got
our Facebook page on social media.
Facebook page on social media, which you have to be 17 in my opinion, but I'm kind of with Nick there. But Robert says guns, beer, social media, depends on the brain. I'm still not old enough. Bob Bro, that's Bob Bro, the opera singer, who's been on this show, is a diligent social media. His responses, I don't know how he finds the time. They're thoughtful, they're long. Yeah. It's insanity. I just can't do that, but he's so good at it. Austin Galante on Facebook, the filmmaker, says 16 at the youngest. I would probably be okay with 18. Thank you, Austin. Good to hear from you. Yeah. Jacob says never. Social media is a plague. Okay. Pretty decisive, guys. Jeff Schmidt says 25. Thank you, Jeff. And Andrew Brown, 37. I guess Andrew's maybe 37. And
no, he's not. He's in his mid-40s.
Okay. And finally, Caroline Thompson says 18. It's a good age. Yeah. Awesome responses, Facebook. Thank you.
I got a couple on my Facebook page as well. And by the way, folks, you can always follow us on social media. We are on Facebook. Just search Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. We are also on Instagram, and you can follow Civic Media on social media as well. You can, if you don't know that already, get on board. Come aboard. We'd love to have you part of the conversation. But on mine, Denisha says, I think 15, but it's still a scary place at any age. Silas says 16. Joe says 90. Armichael Gull says 16. And then this one I wanted to leave to last. This is my buddy Phil. He says, struggling with this. Both of our daughters are in sports where having an Instagram could be a big benefit as they hit high school and compete at events that might feature them. College and universities might also be looking for information on social media during recruitment or admission processes. But we are so against social media in high school because of how it impacted our nephew. And it was a huge reason as why he did what he did. I know we'll still need to drive in somehow, but we're not there yet. Their nephew, I will say, took their own life because of bullying. So that's a lot to take in as far as the opinion, but it makes sense, especially when it comes. That's why, Pete, I wanted to hear from you specifically because you're a parent, and I don't know how you juggle that world of like your kids saying please, 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 but you're also like, I want to keep you safe.
Yeah, it's not easy. And because you see their friends on it and there's peer pressure, and will they get teased if they don't have social media? It's a balancing act. And, all you can do is stay on it and keep having a dialogue about it. And it's different for everybody. But if you're on top of it, that's a win, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow we'll be talking to Nicholas DeGroot, the founder of Ground Floor Democracy and their organization, and talking about politics in the park, as well as a conversation with Jason Mansmith, the marketing director of the Thrasher Opera House, discussing their upcoming events. And stay tuned here, because in the 7 o'clock hour, you will get your final keyword of the day for the Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest. Make sure you have that Civic Media app. Text in the keyword, and then we start the whole thing over tomorrow again. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's your chance to win $100 and a Wisconsin Dells prize pack, as well as being entered into a grand prize drawing for $250 in gas and $250 in groceries. So be a part of it. Get that app, enter, and good luck. Guys, Pete, what did you learn tonight?
I learned that John Oliver is a thief. No, I learned that it's just good to be back on the air with you guys. I've said this periodically. I like weekends. I don't love weekends. I like being able to do this.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, friend.
You're
Dom,
welcome.
what about you?
I learned that YouTubers are the new directors now. They're coming in, they're showing up, and they're really making moves in the cinema.
So. The industry.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
Right? What about you?
What about you, Greg?
I learned that it's important to let the citizens and let independent people decide how our maps are drawn, because the people need to be heard, and you can't be heard when our politicians don't have to listen to the folks who give them their jobs in the first place. So IRCs are the way to go, in my opinion, and that is a bipartisan statement. I do not say that as a Democrat or Republican. I'm saying that for the people. IRCs are the way to go. Folks, we got to get on out of here. So as always, let's start off the thank yous with a thank you to Dominic, to Tucker, to engineering and traffic for all the work they do. They make sure these microphones are turned on. To everyone who called, texted, we thank you so much. You are the reason why we are here. Thank you so much to Yuseli Flores and Matt Miller for being our guests this evening. We're going to have a lot more fun tomorrow with more chances to enter into the Accelerate Your Summer Text to Win multi-state contest. So come on back tomorrow, but stick around for that keyword coming up in just a few moments. It's going to be right here on Civic Media. You are listening and or watching Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba and Greg Bach. Pete, say good night to the people.
Good night, Wisconsin.
We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all